Welcome to the Confessions of a GroupX Instructor podcast. For group exercise junkies and enthusiastic classgoers, we'll explore and uncover authentic, thought-provoking, and heartwarming industry education and inspiration from entertaining, badass fitness pros. And now your host, creator of Warrior Rhythm, Warrior Strength, Warrior Combat, Warrior Revolution, and Warrior Kids Group fitness brands, Ellen DeWord. Here we grow.
Happy Monday. I just was inspired to talk about something rather personal by, I don't know, it was like I went down like this rabbit hole in my Instagram stories. It started with I shared this reel that I shared this reel and it included some really beautiful photos that I had done like right at like my 50th birthday, which was incredibly recently, by the way. So I'm 50. So then I was sharing with my stories that reel and kind of what that photo shoot was about because it was beautiful. It was like well, hold on, maybe I should actually say trigger warning. I don't know if trigger it's not like triggering, but maybe appropriate warning. I think most of this audience based on the analytics is like 90% women that are well, actually it spans a very wide age range. Um, but mostly women that are a little younger than me. But again, there's a huge age range that our listeners, so audience. So I'm gonna talk about, again, trigger warning isn't the right phrase, but this is, maybe not super related to group fitness, but it is to me. Like it all like goes under maybe the category of aesthetics and vanity and trying to age well and um, the efforts I make personally to look my best and slow, like, and combat the process of aging as much as I can. And yet, I want to also age, um, like I want to love myself and accept myself through the aging process, which is inevitable and we all face it. So, to varying degrees, I think everyone, women especially, can relate to what I'm going to talk about. But certainly many of you probably would probably would frown upon or maybe even judge the things that I do to try to like maintain my appearance. Um, and maybe others of you will be very excited about this conversation because maybe I'm going to talk about some things that you do or you would like to do or you're curious about doing, and you just wish someone would talk about it and be honest about it. Because can I tell you how many women have stuff done and don't talk about it? They don't even tell their like husbands. They're like, oh, my husband's going hunting, so I'm gonna go get my lips done while he's gone. Hope he won't notice, like that kind of thing. Or like they literally don't even tell their husband that they get BOTOX and stuff like that. Like, so I'm not embarrassed. I'm uh too grown to care about being judged. And so I thought I could use this platform as a place to share in the hopes that this would be interesting to some of you and inspiring to some of you, educational for some of you. So I'm going to do my best to talk about things I've done. So anyway, back to how this topic kind of came into my head. I was posting about this photo shoot that I had done that was kind of celebrating beauty and age. Because like 50's not young, but I feel like I look good. I feel like I look good. I'm confident about my appearance. I also am aging and having to grapple with that and deal with that and accept that. And I notice that. I notice like I notice I don't jump as high as I used to, you know. I don't um I wake up with sometimes feeling creaky in my body until I move, because the movement is the medicine. And once I move, the creakiness or the aches and pains are gone. Um, I'm old enough that I have arthritis in parts of my body. I have an arthritic knee, pretty severe arthritic knee from having multiple surgeries because I was an athlete. So I tore my ACL 5 bazillion times, and really, truly, I've had 5 knee surgeries. So I've got some arthritis going on in my knees. I've got some arthritis going on in my lower back and in my thumbs and in my neck. So like I'm not a spring chicken, but I want to look pretty. So, and I want to move well and I want to feel good. And so um hence this topic. I was posting about this reel. I was talking about in my stories kind of some of the things I have done to try to stay pretty. To try to stay pretty. Maybe that's what the name of this episode should be. It's like how to stay pretty. Um, so let's see. I don't know if I would consider myself like super high maintenance. Um, or low maintenance. I take about 5 minutes to get ready every day. Truth, but take about 5 minutes to do my makeup. Oh, I've also found that the older I get, I actually look better with less makeup. So that's kind of a bizarre find, but I've realized I had, sometimes you have to take like an objective look at your face like you've never seen it before, which is very hard to do, and ask yourself some hard questions. So I started to realize that big, enormous eyelashes on me, big, enormous like extensions, eyelash extensions, I realized that that aged me. It was taking away actually from um, my beauty. And it looked kind of weird. It looked kind of weird to have enormous eyelashes. Um, and I think young women can pull it off and look really cute with but huge lashes. And I'll still put on some strip eyelashes, the glue kind that you can get at Target or whatever. I get mine on Amazon. I can share the link with you if you would like. But I get little strip lashes from Amazon, and I don't wear them every day because I'm sure they're hard on our eyelashes. I only wear them really if I'm going to be on camera at a special event, or sometimes if I'm going to be up on a stage in front of a lot of people, I will add lashes. Or if I'm filming one of our fitness videos, I'll put on lashes. But I don't know, once a month, maybe twice a month, maybe max, I wear strip eyelashes. I used to use those extensions and they ruined my eyelashes, my natural eyelashes, and I have recovered my natural lash. It took a very long time and I used Babe Lash or different versions of Babe Lash. They have other brands that do the same thing. It's been rumored to me that castor oil will do the same thing. So if you know that, I only know that anecdotally. I've never tried that, but if you know if castor oil works, would you please let me know? Because I'm sure it's cheaper than Babe Lash. But Babe Lash has recovered my eyelashes. You're supposed to put it on every night before bed or something like that, and I don't. I probably do it like 3 times a week, but I have my basically I have now I have my like natural length of lashes, and so when I get ready in the morning, I put on mascara and I also draw my eyebrows a little fuller, a little darker. I maybe have shared this with you before. No, I haven't, but I shared this in my stories once before. I'm not a fan of eyebrow tattooing. I know it looks so good on some people. I'm just not going to do it. I don't think ever in my lifetime because I think a lot of times it looks purple on people or gray, like it doesn't fade in the right color. And I think it does require some maintenance. And I just don't like the look of the gray or purple or like boxy looking tattoo eyebrows. So I love drawing them on. It takes 10 seconds and I can make them like thick one day or thin another day or longer or archier. So I'm an artist. So I enjoy penciling on my eyebrows. I mean, I have eyebrows, but it makes them a little bit darker. So so when I get ready, my 5 minute getting ready, basically I put my contacts in, I brush my teeth, I floss my teeth. I'm obsessed with flossing my teeth. I do it at least once a day. When my teeth aren't flossed, I don't feel like correct. I don't feel, hi toots. I don't feel okay if I have not flossed my teeth. It's like a weird thing that I have. Um, I don't know. So I brush my teeth, I floss my teeth. I wash my face with just Clearasil. Is that what it's called? Clearasil? No, that's not what it's called. It's Cetaphil. Cetaphil? Is that it's like a ba Cetaphil. It's just like a basic generic facial cleanser. I clean my face with that. I've been really into these micro cloths. They're like almost like paper towels. They're like these incredible microfiber. They're not towels. They're not paper. They're not fabric. I don't know what they are. They're way more towel-like than a paper towel, but they're way more paper towel-like than a towel. You know what, do you guys know what I mean? I gotta put a link in the show notes. I've got to do it, but I sometimes rent the runway. God, I'm on so many tangents. I hope I can remember all my main points now. But I do rent the runway. I have it on pause right now because I haven't been having to wear as many nice dresses around the world this last year. So I sometimes pause it because I like to rent like designer dresses if I'm going to be making like public appearances. And Rent the Runway will often throw a little goodie in the bag, like a gift from another company to turn you on to another product. And let me tell you, it always works on me. It always works on me. Sometimes they throw in stuff I already love, like Lumify. I love Lumify eye drops. They make you look like a Snapchat filter. They make the whites of your eyes so white. And if you don't think that's important, try it. And then you'll be like, oh my gosh, why don't I do this? So if I'm going to be in any Zoom meeting, any photos, anything important, any face-to-face where I want to look attractive, I definitely put in the Lumify eye drops. I try to keep some in my bag, my like little Lululemon satchel that has my wallet in it. I try to keep some in my car. I also keep some on my desk that I'm often doing Zoom meetings in, so that if I'm going to be in a Zoom meeting, I put in those eye drops. But they're like a Snapchat filter. And to me, it's as important as having white teeth, but I don't think people think about having white eyes. They think about having white teeth, so they buy their Crest White strips or whatever, and they don't realize, like, oh, I should also have bright white eyes. So anyway, I like to have white teeth. I do bleach them like every 2 or 3 years. And then with those trays, because back in the day, I had these trays made from a mold of my teeth, and now I can just like buy. So that was expensive getting those trays made. I mean, not ex it was like $400. Now I'm dismissing a phone call. Now for my teeth whitening routine, I just have to buy the syringe of bleach from the dentist. And I squirt it in the trays and I sleep in them for like 2 weeks, for like half of the night or most of the night or all the night. And my teeth get super white and I love it. And just telling you that right now makes me feel like I should probably do it again. It's been a while. Because I do drink black coffee and red wine. I drink coffee, electrolytes, water, and wine. So, anyway, okay, white teeth. Okay, makeup routine. I think I want to. So for my 5 minute getting ready for the gym routine, usually involves a cute outfit. I like to have a thoughtful outfit. And then I put my mascara on, sometimes eyeliner, um, and eyebrows, and that's it. If I am feeling like I want to look a little cuter than basic, I will add red lips or pink lips, whatever. I'll add a bold lip, usually matte. I like shiny too, but usually matte. Why am I telling you all these details? I'm like, I'm in a tailspin. Let me get back to the main road, which is feeling good and looking good. So, and aging and accepting, trying to accept aging, but also trying to fight aging. So that's where I'm at in my life. Can you relate? I'm at a place in my life where I want to combat aging and look my best as long as I can. And I'm not ashamed to say I care about looking good. And I also want to accept aging and be kind and loving to myself as I venture into the inevitable, which is aging and then ultimately death. Like, not to be morbid. So anyway, some of the things that I have done, I was going to share with you, like of the vein of like Botox and filler and that kind of thing. That's what I was going to talk about on this episode. When I was 27, I got breast implants. I was 27. I had three kids already. Bam, bam, bam. I started having kids when I was 21. I looked so young. I looked so young. I looked like a baby. Um, Truly, I honestly look like I was like 12 years old in these photos. We didn't have digital back then. Um, we had like actual camera, like f film that you had to take to like Walgreens and have them develop it for you. But I look like a 12-year-old with my babies. But I was 21 when I had my first, 23 when I had my second, and 25 when I had my third. So they're all essentially a year and a half to 2 years apart. So I had three kids in 5 years, and I breastfed that entire 5 years. There was never a point in that 5 years. There was never a point where I wasn't breastfeeding and also pregnant. So my poor body. In fact, that's another story for another day, is I think that had a lot to do with why I ended up tattooing my body head to toe. I think there were a lot of factors, that being one of them, into this like desire to reclaim my body. But anyway, so I had been like large chested in high school and college. And as you know, who you listeners of the show know that I had eating disorders and stuff like that. But I was getting fitter and fitter and fitter, more fit as I was just getting more fitter. And so my boobs were just pretty wrecked after the breastfeeding, the weight loss, the weight loss, the weight loss, the breastfeeding, the breastfeeding, the breastfeeding. And so could not even wait to get breast implants. I was very self-conscious of the way my chest looked, and in fact, wanted to kind of keep it kind of covered and hidden all the time. So that surgery was like amazing for me. And gave me incredible confidence in how I looked. And there was nothing I could have done about it. In fact, the more fit I got, the worse my chest looked. And in fact, the chest muscle, the stronger it got, my pecs, um, it was just, I don't want to be too graphic because I'm trying to be tasteful on this episode, talking about these sensitive things, but I just felt like there was no fixing me. There was no fixing me. And like, that's a lot of women. Like, that's a lot of women who have experienced weight loss or have done, or breastfeeding, or, you know, um, those are the two main culprits. So, I did not have a breast lift. I didn't need one. I actually wanted one, and the doctor said that they didn't advise it, and they were right. I didn't need one, but had a set of breast implants. Now, this is so long ago that they were saline. Back in the day, like gel implants were considered contraindicated, and they weren't FDA approved, and they were linked to all kinds of things like, you know, fibromyalgia, and if they were to leak and get in your body, like it was never coming out, and it was like a toxin and probably a carcinogen, and so they were like contraindicated. So I got saline. But the problem with saline, the doctor said, they will only last 10 to 12 years. And if you like if one of them ruptures while it's safe because it's made out of saline and your body will just absorb all the saline, you will like wake up without a boob. And I've heard of that happening to people. So I was afraid of that. So I had these saline implants. I was afraid of that. They said 10 to 12 years. I waited 13. So 13 years with that pair of saline implants. And I went to Portland to have a revision, like a second set, and I wanted to go a little bit bigger. So and I got the cohesive gel, which has been amazing. I love them. It was a wonderful surgery. Sorry, I got another phone call. I'm on my computer, and so my phone is ringing on my computer, and that happens, just so you know, every single time I podcast, and I never can tell if you guys can tell it's happening. So I always mention it just in case. But um, so that was the first. Okay, that was like my first aesthetic, cosmetic surgery. And then when I was going to a follow-up appointment after that second breast augmentation in Portland, that plastic surgeon, I can't remember how it came up. I don't remember how it came up, but we talked about BOTOX, and it was for my migraine headache because I'm a migraine sufferer. So he was like, some people have some success with treatment of migraine with BOTOX, and I was like, let's try it. So he did BOTOX on my forehead and like my crow's feet. And then they call them the 11s. It's that deep crease that a lot of us have, like right above the bridge of our nose up into our forehead. And they're called 11s because it's those deep lines that resemble a number 11. They're parallel to each other and vertical, so they look like a number 11. Mine were very pronounced, and so he Botoxed all that area. It did not help my migraines, much to my disappointment and sadness. But oh my gosh. It took like 10 years off of my face. It was wild. It was wild. Not only did it remove those wrinkles, not only did it do that, but I swear my skin has forever since taken on like a new glow. Like it's wild. It was wild. And like my eyes looked bigger, more open. He was a master injector. Sad he retired. Wah wah. So that's when I started getting some Botox in my forehead, occasionally the crow's feet area. Um, and so then at that point I just decided to keep going for the sake of the aesthetic of it. I knew it wasn't helping my migraine. I've even tried Botox the base of my skull, the top of my neck, to try to help treat Botox, but I mean to try to help treat my migraines, but it does not help me. So then I was curious about having lip filler. This is like more present tense. By the way, I've never done facial. I have not done facials. I don't do those. I would like to. I've never done any chemical peels or any type of peels or any kind of facials. I want to. Um, I just haven't done it. And I've heard we should. I've heard we should get facials a couple times a year, just like we go to the dentist a couple times a year. So, um, then I got lip filler. My gosh, I don't know, like 5 years ago? That's a wild guess. Something in that ballpark. And the first time I got lip filler, my lips swelled up a lot. And So if you've never done it, it's a little bit it's pretty painful. And and well, now I've learned ways to like mitigate the swelling. But that first time I did it, they swelled up a lot for a little while. So you're like embarrassed to go to work the next day, that kind of thing. But eventually, I figured it out and I it's pretty subtle. Like my lips are not subtle now because I personally, I know it's all subjective. I personally like big lips, big full lips. So that was kind of the look I was going for. And the injector said, we won't do that quickly. If you want big full lips, we're going to take our time and go slow, which was wise counsel. So she ended up leaving the industry. Long story short, then I went to another injector in town that I didn't know and had a bad result. Yeah, like really bad. With her just either it was either too much filler or poorly placed. But in any event, I ended up going to Portland um about 2 years ago and she dissolved. So I'm having to pay like a few $100s to remove filler that cost a few $100s. Can you imagine driving a 4 hour round trip, spending a few $100s just to undo someone else's work? So she was dissolving the filler. And so my lips, I don't know how closely anyone would notice if you follow me, but they got smaller and smaller and smaller. And she was doing the right thing. And then she was able to kind of like reshape them. I love this she's awesome, so I'll tell you her who she is. Her Instagram is the Contour Queen, and she is out of Portland, Oregon, and she's incredible, and she's the one who basically saved my appearance because I had this like bad injector experience. So so let's see, to bring it back to kind of what we were talking about, what I was talking about is the different things I've had done. I had breast implants done and then revised because I had to, because the saline ones would not last forever. Also, saline implants have some, they can ripple, like have a rippling effect. Um, so also I would advise fitness professionals that are considering something like that to go under the muscle, not on top of the muscle. So a lot of bodybuilders do implants on top of the muscle, but under the muscle has it's my understanding that is a better long-term um, aesthetic. Um, if you want large implants, I should say. And I did want large implants. So, and I'm not advising anyone, for the record, disclaimer, I'm not advising anyone to go have anything done. I'm just talking about my path. Um, so that's it. And then I color my gray hair. I color my hair to try to my natural color. So I'm naturally like a dark brunette and I color my hair like I was going every 6 weeks, and sometimes I go every 5 now because I am getting a little bit grayer. So yeah, basically what I do to maintain my appearance that is maybe like unnatural, like is that the right word for it? Is I've had the implants. I do BOTOX. I don't always go every 3 months. Sometimes I go every 4. Um, and then also I um have had the lip filler. I haven't done filler in other parts of my face. I currently don't know that I ever will do that. Um, so yeah, that's it. And I put the eyelash serum on, I get my nails done, and you know, it's a small investment. There was a time where I didn't have a car payment And I also don't have a car payment now. Yay, the Mercedes is paid off. But there was a time where I didn't have a car payment, and I was like, you know what? I was driving this Toyota Highlander, and it was paid off, and it was older, and I loved it. It was perfect for me and all my dogs. And I was like, I don't have a car payment. I would rather spend, a couple $100 a month on maintaining my appearance. So that's sort of how I personally reconciled. Like, it's like, what's important to you? Like, what is important to you in terms um, of money, And to me, it was more important for me to have Botox than and filler in my lips than it was to like have a brand new car. So it's whatever. Like some people have different priorities and some people think this is ridiculous. And I honor that. I honor that opinion. I honor that opinion. Some people are just like, I'm just not gonna do anything um with my appearance and just age, as I age and let my hair turn gray. I think my daughter will be like that. I think my daughter will like let her hair go gray when it starts to go gray. Because she's a little hippie and I love that. So, um, yeah, those are some of the things that I have done. And I guess I just wanted to open the conversation with you guys and how it relates, I guess, to fitness and group fitness and all that is, I guess I want to say that I think I look good. I think I look good for my age. And I think a lot of that has to do with lifestyle of what we do, our lifestyle. And I think you guys look good too. I think you guys look good too. I bet this is the best looking podcast audience there is. I mean, for real, right? Because we're into fitness. I mean, I've spent an entire lifetime. I was a tomboy when I was little, so I consider that exercise. Like, I consider that exercising. I was always playing soccer or football or tennis or baseball or anything. Like, um, so I feel like I've worked out my whole life because I just was such a tomboy running around little and then got into sports as soon as I could get into sports. And I started lifting as soon as, I was in high school and allowed to lift. And I've been doing it ever since. And oh gosh, it reminds me, I just saw this like meme, like to the girl who's to the younger version of myself that started weightlifting. Thank you so much. Or so it was like the most beautiful. I wish I could, I'm butchering it, but anyway, I've worked out my whole life. I think that is a key. I think lifestyle, what I'm trying to say is that I think 99% of looking good is lifestyle, exercise, sleep, water. Like exercise, sleep, water, having good relationships to the best of our ability. I mean, I know life will throw us curveballs sometimes, but um I think trying to stay try to keep toxic influences and people as best I can out of my life. Sometimes they creep in, but as best I can, pruning that garden. Really trying to get 8 to 10 hours of sleep a night, 8 to 10 a night. Trying to make sure I have tons of water. It's like the oil in our car. It keeps our cells plump like grapes instead of shriveled up like raisins. Okay, that's what I want you to think about when you're drinking your water. Plump. Plump like grapes, not shriveled up like raisins. Um, you know, Having like a variety of exercise modalities in your diet. So for me, that's hardcore cycling. I shouldn't say hardcore, but consistent, vigorous cycling, um, consistent, vigorous weightlifting, consistent, vigorous yoga, some rest days peppered in there. And of course, I do kickboxing too. So I think the variety, the well-rounded variety, keeps boredom at bay, keeps my body um, well-rounded in fitness. meaning the strength, the bone density, the cardiovascular, the cardiorespiratory, like all the different, my musculoskeletal system, all of it. So anyway, weird topic, but weigh in. Oh, I didn't think of a confession. Maybe my confession is the lip filler gone bad. Migrating. It's called migration. And um yeah, so where are you at in the process of accepting yourself as you age? And how do you feel about aging? And how do you feel about intervening with, aesthetic treatments? So that's all, you guys. Thanks for being the best looking audience ever. I'll see you next week.
Thank you for joining in on the Confessions of a GroupX Instructor podcast. If you're interested in becoming a warrior instructor, go to warriorinstructors.com. But if you want more and found this episode amazing, please give us a rating. And with a simple click to subscribe, we'll invite you back to our next episode. So remember, be brave, be bold, be blessed. And above all, listen, learn, love.